I find it disgusting that people like you weaponize anti-Semitism and weaponize Jewish suffering to justify another genocide which is happening now. But let me answer the question. If you weren't so rude, maybe we could get somewhere.
Nobody should.
Why don't you let me speak?
You
only can speak over people because your arguments have no validity. There isn't a West Roaring out.
Genocide than the Nazi genocide. Look, shame on you.
Shame on you. Shame on you. We've been watching on our phones for 14 months. Just be quiet for a minute. Do you know how to do that? I didn't interrupt you.
No,
behave.
You can't make
behave
those
like a normal person.
Behave
on
national television.
Alan, let him at least explain the...
Yes, but the point about the ICC arrest warrants, which is why Alan Dershowitz is having a fit, is because the ICC has always been used against official enemies.
Hold on to your popcorn. We're diving into a month-old debate that's so spicy it could resurrect your dead group chats. On one side, Alan Dershowitz, the high-profile lawyer who spent decades in spotlights defending, let's just say, controversial clients. On the other, Matt Kennard, a journalist who shows up ready to throw facts, stats, and the occasional verbal grenade. I'm surprised I never covered this video on my channel. I must have completely missed it. P.S. Shout out to the genius who said my voiceover sucks. Don't worry, I'll let Matt and Alan's verbal fireworks do the talking this time. Spoiler, you'll want to side-eye Alan harder than a math teacher grading your failed quiz. Let's roll.
You're a lawyer, right? You've been very high-profile law in America for a very long time. What if you're wrong? You know, one of my big problems with Israel and the IDF is they haven't let journalists go in and verify anything that they're doing, right? It's still almost impossible for journalists to get on the ground over in Gaza, right? So we have no real independent idea of what they've been up to. What if you're just wrong, Alan? What if actually war crimes have been committed on quite a wholesale basis? You seem to be absolutely certain that there's no war crime that's been committed. But how can you be certain? No one's been allowed to go in there and see what's been going on.
You can be certain by just looking at the statistics that are issued by Hamas themselves. If you take every single statistic issued, Israel has the lowest ratio of civilian to combatant deaths of any country in modern warfare. The United States, Great Britain, NATO. That statistic alone, maybe 1 or 2% of the entire civilian population of Gaza. By the way, they count as civilians 18-year-old soldiers who they call children, or women who are carrying bombs who they call women. If you take just those statistics, you will see that Israel has done better than any country faced with comparable threats. And yet,
well,
the
if there's
United
nothing to hide,
Nations
okay, but
has
look,
condemned Israel.
I'm going to move. I'm going to move to the other panel.
They should allow journalists in.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Well, let's agree on that.
You and I go to Israel together, and let's look at what happened. I agree with you. There should be more visibility and more transparency, and I welcome a visit with you. I offered that to the head of the prosecutor's staff, and they turned it down.
Okay.
They refused to go to Israel.
Let me bring in the other panelists.
They refused to go to Gaza.
Okay. No, on that we agree. I think it's outrageous that the media have been banned from going in. And, of course, when you don't let people in, it makes it look like you've got something to hide. Matt Kennard, let me come to you. Look, that's the case for Israel. Alan makes no, pretense that he's obviously completely on that side of the fence on this debate. Where do you sit with this?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, listening to Alan, it's like the ravings of a madman. We're 14 months into a genocide, which has been documented, the most documented genocide in history. You have the ICC asking for...
More than Nazi Germany? Wait a minute. More than Nazi Germany? The most documented genocide in history?
Documented, i.e. people can see it. I didn't say the amount of people.
Wait a minute. What are you doing on television if you... You think that this is a greater genocide, documented genocide, than the Nazi Holocaust,
that wasn't documented as it was happening in the same way. That wasn't documented in the same way while it was happening.
Nobody should listen. Nobody should listen to a word you're saying.
You only can speak over people because your arguments have no validity. There isn't a West Roaring out.
Genocide than the Nazi genocide. Shame on you.
Shame on you. Shame on you for defending a genocide and using the memory of the people who died in the Holocaust to justify that genocide. It's disgusting. And I had family who died in the Holocaust. I find it disgusting that people like you weaponize anti-Semitism and weaponize Jewish suffering to justify another genocide which is happening now. But let me answer the question. If you weren't so rude, maybe we could get somewhere. But I think partly the reason you argue like this is because you know you have no valid points. Let me go back to the issue at hand. The genocide is the most documented genocide in history. We've been watching on our phones for 14 months. Just be quiet for a minute. Do you know how to do that? I didn't interrupt you.
No,
behave.
you can't make
behave
those
like a normal
kinds of
person.
statements
Behave
on
like
national
Alan,
television.
Alan,
that it's worse than
let
the
him at least
Holocaust.
explain
You
the point he's
cannot
making.
do that. Sorry.
Alan, he's talking about the use of mobile phones. Clearly, they didn't exist in World War II.
Exactly.
So let him make his point in totality. Then we can query
the
its
documentation
validity.
that the Nazis
All
themselves
right, but Alan,
did.
let him finish his point.
Okay, so the Lancet, an independent medical journal, recently published a piece that claimed that 186,000 people have been killed in Gaza. 70% of those women and children. You're talking about a genocide. And to be honest with you, we have the evidence is in. Yoav Gallant, one of the ministers, or the defense minister that's now sacked, that is one of the recipients of an arrest warrant from the ICC, he went on TV early in the genocide and he said, we are dealing with human animals and we will withdraw all water, food and electricity from 2.3 million people, half of them children. Let me finish. That is genocidal rhetoric, and they carried it out. They've been launching an extermination campaign in northern Gaza, in Jabalia camp, wiping out whole scores of people. There's been massacres every day. 100 people often die every single day. It's clear to the whole world. You are in the minority, and the walls are closing in. The walls are closing in. Okay. 125 countries, if Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, who are wanted war criminals, step in, they will be arrested. And thankfully, the ICC saved the reputation of international law, because one of the disgraceful things about the ICC arrest warrants is it took so long. The whole world has been watching this. We all know what's going on. You are the minority. The whole world is appalled by what we are supporting. Can I make one more point?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Quickly, yeah.
One thing you said was correct. This is not just Israeli war criminals we're talking about. We're talking about war criminals in London and Washington too. I'm in London now. I want to talk about the participation, not complicity, participation of my own government.
And do you agree that Palestinians have committed war crimes too in the past?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, but the point about the ICC arrest warrants, which is why Alan Dershowitz is having a fit, is because the ICC has always been used against official enemies. It's been a tool of imperialism. And for the first time, we are seeing justice done for Western war criminals and their allies. Can I just make one more point? You, Piers Morgan, were very, very good in 2003. You made the Daily Mirror into something we could be proud of in the British society because of your opposition to the war in Iraq. That Bush and Blair should also have been had arrest warrants for that illegal invasion, which killed up to 1 million people and destroyed a whole country. So we are in new territory in this.
Well, we are. I mean, look, the difference I would make. People have asked me about that before. I did lead the media campaign in this country against the Iraq War, but because the Iraq War was enacted as a revenge for something that Iraq had nothing to do with. And I just thought that was completely outrageous and should never have happened, which is now really what the perceived wisdom about that war is. So they're two different things.
That this is a war against the United States.
Hang on, Alan. Let me bring in Jonathan, who's been waiting patiently. Jonathan, you're a former IDF spokesperson. I've had you on the show many times. Do you mind if I call you spokesman, by the way? Because I can't stand all this people-person crap. So I'm going to call you spokesman, if that's all right.
Piers,
you identify as a man, do you? I mean, do I have to check that? I think you look like a man to me, Jonathan.
In this day and age, we do have to check. But yes, I'm comfortable being a spokesman. Called man and he, yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, indeed.
Let's wrap this chaos with a bow, yeah? Alan Dershowitz rolled up to this debate like, war crimes? Math says no. While Matt Kennard hit back with genocide, my phone storage is full of proof. Alan's out here defending Israel stats like they're his Fortnite KD ratio, obsessively and with zero self-awareness. Bro's glazing so hard he could open up a donut shop. Meanwhile, Matt's serving UN reports and Lancet studies like they're Groupon coupons for justice. And honestly, we're here for it. Shout out to the keyboard warrior in my comments who said my commentary sucks. You're right, King. My voice could cure insomnia. But hey, at least I'm not the one here simping for war criminals. So real talk, if this debate were a Netflix show, who's getting cancelled first? Alan, Excel sheet defender Dershowitz, or Matt? I've got 180 receipts and reasons to scream Kennard. Drop your vote below and pray Alan doesn't slide into your DMs with a PowerPoint. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, y'all. Catch you in the next one.